This week, we can hardly contain the awesome to reasonable levels. We've got legendary driving skills that exceed the realm of possibility with Vin Diesel at the wheel and Wheelman. Stormrise is going to take us to an apocalyptic future where there is no atmosphere and humans have evolved into two separate warring factions, while the Prinnies, the explosive demonic penguins from Gaia, are going to take the limelight in Prinny. Can I really be the hero? We've got an exclusive early interview about Dawn of War 2 multiplayer, and one last look at the season's best ideas for gaming gifts. See, I told you we needed to prevent awesome overload. Explosive demonic penguins. This week, on the spot.
Yeah, that's right. It's Thursday. It's 4 o'clock-ish Pacific time. That means it's time for On the Spot. This is GameSpot's weekly show dedicated to everything video games. I'm your host, Brian Eckberg, joined as always by Kristen Riley. And we have a heck of a show for you guys today. Kristen, we've got driving, we've got real-time strategy, we've got penguins with swords.
You don't get a whole lot better than penguins with swords or Wheelman, because
That's right.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like the main character of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right to it. We're going to have Tor up in just a bit, talking about all the stuff that's going on in the world of news here in the gaming industry. But before we do that, I think, Kristen, we've got another gaming gift bag we want to talk about.
We do. We have the last and final Gamers gift bag. And before we go into it, we want to go ahead and say thank you to Music Lovers Audio Video for letting us go in and shoot some amazing home theater setups. I really want them. So let's go ahead and take a look at these home theater setups, because you guys are just going to absolutely go crazy for them. Losing yourself in a game always feels good, but actually feeling like you're in the game is even better. Every gamer loves home theaters, and we're going to show you some of the best presents to transport you into the game. From TVs to speakers to chairs, this home theater has it all. Slip into one of these salamander chairs, grab a controller, and prepare for a new gaming experience. Having the right receiver makes all the difference, and the Integra DRT 7.9 receiver will ensure that your sound quality is clear and true to life. Switch between components with the push of a button, and easy access to additional auxiliary input ports means you'll be able to plug and play. Speakers make all the difference in the world, and the Rebel Performa C32 center channel will rock your world. With a pair of 5 1/4-inch woofers, a 4-inch mid-range, and a 1-inch pure titanium dome tweeter, this speaker is packing a wallop. The surrounds we used in this room were the Rebel Performa M22s, a compact surround speaker that sounds much larger than it really is. Because Rebel utilizes organic composite ceramic cones, you'll find your sound crystal clear and free from distortion. Paradigm Seismic 12 is a subwoofer that we chose to go with in this room configuration. The 50-inch plasma on the wall is the Runco XP50 DHD. Boasting full 1080p resolution and the ability to view 4x3 content in widescreen without picture degradation, as well as a lifespan of 60,000 hours, this TV will have anyone screaming like a child when they unwrap it. While our last room had it all, this room takes having it all to new heights. A projection screen with adjustable masking panels, plush leather seats available in a variety of fabrics with rumble capabilities, center and surround speakers available in custom paint colors, and a $175,000 projection system, this theater goes beyond the wildest expectations. The screen in this room is the Stewart Cinecurve. Curving the projection screen helps prevent distortion from the projector, and having adjustable masking panels that fit aspect ratios of 4x3, 16:9, and 239:1, you'll never run out of room to play games. Our center channel in this room is the Watch Center from Wilson Audio. Utilizing 2 mid-range woofers, this center channel is able to put out the same clarity of sound and power as higher-priced models. The side speakers are Wilson Audio's Watt Puppies in Ferrari Red. One thing that Wilson Audio prides itself on besides sound quality of their speakers is the paint and finishing techniques applied. Along with a large color palette to choose from, they can color match your speakers to anything you can dream up. Each side speaker features 2 8-inch woofers, a 7-inch mid-range, and a 1-inch tweeter that will fill your room with warm, true-to-life sound. The Watch surrounds, again from Wilson Audio, help complement the sound in this home theater. The final piece in this system is the Watchdog subwoofer, which brings out the nice, clean, deep bass tones and will definitely alert you to any explosions nearby. While those 2 home theaters would be the ultimate gift, there are other ideas for the gamer in your household. LCD TVs are slim, light, and produce a gorgeous picture. With a smaller footprint, an LCD TV will fit just about anywhere. Does your gamer ever complain about sun glare on the screen? Then pick up a movable mounting bracket for your wall television this season. An even more affordable gift would be a wireless router. Hooking all your gaming systems into one wireless network and giving you the ability to stream media to your consoles, you'll find several new uses for those consoles, like viewing photos. Showing off your photos has never been easier, and with the addition of a photo quality printer, which can be hooked directly up to the PS3, you'll now have the ability to print them instantly. From easy and simple to grand and over the top, there's something for everyone this holiday season. Be sure to check back at GameSpot.com for all your holiday needs, brought to you by GameStop.
There you go. There's a look at our final Gamer's gift bag. If you're looking for a gift, I'm sure you can go back and find something for one of your friends or loved ones. Right now, Tor Thorsten is standing by with all the latest going on in the game industry. Tor, what's the latest?
What's the latest? What isn't the latest? We've got all sorts of news coming out this week. First off, we got 2 big games finally getting release dates. These are games people have been waiting for a long time. First up is Halo Wars. That's Ensemble Studios' last project because Microsoft decided, hey, what do we need an RTS studio for, right? Guess not for nothing, because apparently this is their last project. And there's an Xbox 360 exclusive RTS game based on the Halo universe that's coming out March 3rd in the US, February 27th in the EU, and in Japan for some reason first on February 26th. Next up, we got Killzone 2 is coming out on February 27th. Now, this is a game people have been waiting since, I guess, May 2005 for. Since E3, people saw some really great real-time footage at that event. Turns out it was a little pre-rendered, but this new stuff looks really good, and it's coming out February 27th, so it's going to be amazing. Now, fresh and hot off the press is the NPD numbers, and leading them are record sales for the Nintendo Wii, which sold over 2 million units last month. That is a record. That is crazy talk. I hope a lot of people out there are playing Wii Sports with their grandmothers because that's the only reason they can explain these crazy thoughts. Now let me run down the rest of the list real quick. We've got the Nintendo DS at 1.57 million. We've got the Xbox 360 at 836,000. We've got the PlayStation 3, the PSP at 421,000, so that's pretty good for the PSP. PlayStation 3 at 378K, and the PlayStation 2 at 206,000K. The top 10 games of the month, number 1 was Gears of War 2 with 1.56 million units domestically, over 3 million units worldwide, which Microsoft told us about in midweek, which is great for them. Next, we got Call of Duty World at War at 1.41 million. That includes the collector's edition and all that stuff. We Play with Remote, screwing up the top 10 list again because it's a remote with a little bit of a game going on there at number 3 with 796,000 units. Wii Fit, 697,000 units. Mario Kart Wii, 637,000 units. And Call of Duty World at War for the PS3, the top one was 360, 597,000 units. Guitar World Tour for the Wii, which is cool, brought one on there, that's all SKUs. For the Wii, it's 475,000 units. And Left 4 Dead did pretty well, 410,000 units. Resistance 2, 385,000 units. And Wii Music, surprise, I guess people do like Wii Music after all, 297,000 units for the month. Now, the news wasn't all good. There's been some layoffs in the game industry. First up, Sony slashed 8,000 full-time jobs and 8,000 part-time and temporary jobs. So some hard times over there at Sony. Sony Computer Entertainment is also under the microscope because, hey, this worldwide economic crisis is hitting everyone. Also up there is EA lowered its outlook for the year. They wouldn't give numbers, but they said they're going to cancel an unannounced number of games. Well, they didn't say specifically, but there's been reports that Mirror's Edge hasn't sold so well and didn't make the top 10, so obviously didn't sell that great. And they're going to cut back their staff a bit. So if you work at EA, sorry. Also, on a brighter bit of news, PlayStation Home. Remember that? Announced in 2006, or 2007 GDC. Something got announced later that year. That passed. 2008 is almost passed now. And guess what? It launches today. The open beta goes live today. There's no word on the actual proper service launches, but the open beta will go live today, so sometime. So if you're at home, when you can put your virtual Bravia TV and your virtual pad with your virtual designer furniture, and you wear your virtual diesel jeans, today's your lucky day! Yeah! Yeah! All right. And last but not least, for all of you Hideo Kojima fans out there, there's a new Metal Gear coming out. Now, which new Metal Gear and for what platform? We don't know. Now, Kojima Productions and Konami have put a little bit of a teaser on their website, which says a new Metal Gear is, and you can see by this amazing little graphic here. It's very descriptive. It has it in green text. So of course, all the Xbox 360 fanboys are like, "Oh my God, MGS4 on the 360!" Well, we don't know if it's going to be that or a new Metal Gear Acid, or maybe there's even rumors of the original Metal Gear Solid from the PlayStation coming onto the 360 because it originally came out for Windows. So we don't know what's going on yet, but there's some new Metal Gear coming on there. So if you're playing Metal Gear Solid 4 for the umpteenth time, which you should because it's a great game, there is more Metal Gear on the way. And that's it for our pre-written news. What do you got for questions there, Brian?
I got a question for you regarding the Wii, those record Wii sales. What do you attribute that to? Do you think that's just the supply actually catching up to the demand?
I mean, it's insatiable demand. I mean, everyone wants a Wii. You know, I've got like my aunt asked me about the Wii who worked for NPR until she got laid off. Anyway, so people are demanding. Then finally, Nintendo has moved. Their production is finally matching. You know, the supply is finally matching the demand. So it's just a question of when this. I mean, I don't want to say a fad, but when the kind of trend of getting a Nintendo Wii, when will it hit market saturation? So it hasn't hit it yet. It's defied everything. It's now the top-selling console of this generation. It's surpassed the Xbox 360. Even though the 360 came out a year, it's selling so well. When will the madness end? I don't know.
And one other question, EA has not given any indication as to what titles they've canceled, right?
No, they haven't said it yet. It's really kind of a sad story because I've interviewed Frank Gibeau, the EA Games president, and their whole effort was on new IPs and kind of quality over quantity. But unfortunately, some of these new IPs they've gambled big on, like Mercenaries 2, which has done pretty well. I guess I shouldn't say Mercenaries 2, but Mirror's Edge hasn't paid off as well. And this economic climate is brutal in every sector. So they've been hit really well. Their stock price has gone way down. So they're just going to have to face economic reality and kind of live within their means.
All right. Well, Tor, thank you so much for that news update.
It's my pleasure, Brian.
Awesome. I love it when he yells at me. Right now we're joined by Vispy from Creative Assembly Australia, and we're talking about a game called Stormrise. Vispy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Happy to have you here. We want to get right into Stormrise, but first, while you're diving in, let's dive right into the game. But tell us what Stormrise is.
Okay, so Stormrise is an RTS that we've developed from the ground up with the consoles very much in mind. It's out on 360, it's out on PS3. It is also available on PC, on Windows Vista, but the big focus was actually nailing the controls for console. We'll all pretty much accept that RTS hasn't worked too well on console.
It's completely impossible.
It's completely impossible, you say. Allow me to... All right, so here's the deal.
You proved me wrong.
I will, because until now, the mouse and keyboard has just been the mouse is so effective, so fast, so accurate, and that's what you need in an RTS, So there's two things I want to show you with this demo here. One is how we move around the map, because we've actually created a new control system called Whip Select, and it is actually faster and more accurate than a mouse and keyboard. And that's the big thing that I want to show you. And the other thing is a thing called verticality, and that's why, regardless of platform, this is just an unbelievable RTS experience that's doing big promises.
Let's dive in, because these are big promises.
Yeah, okay. So I've quickly just laid out a couple of units around the sort of playfield here. All units anywhere on the playfield will have an icon, a unit icon above them. They're these little blue icons here. So you can see on the left there, I've got two units that are grouped together, so there's two. Down the street here, I've actually got a sort of mech guy down the end, and there's an icon for him. Now, for the sake of this demo, imagine the fact that this mech guy, he could be half a kilometre away. He could be many, like 6 or 7 traditional map screens away. I'd still have an icon for him there, okay? So for me to get around the map to exactly who I want to anywhere on the playing field, this is how simple it is. All I have to do is use this right control stick. I press and hold it out in any direction, and as I move it left and right and around the sort of game map, you actually see that it highlights these icons, right? So if I want to move to that guy, all I need to do is highlight the icon and let go. Bang.
And you're
it's
there.
That quick. If I want to move back to that guy, I highlight him, I move there. If I want to go to these guys on the left, this is how quick it is to get anywhere on the playfield. That's phenomenal, right? For big movements. But the big innovation is in local area movement. So this is where, in the heat of a battle and you want to quickly move somewhere in the sort of RTS game, when you want to quickly move to the guy in front of you, around you, next to you, and that's where the mouse has been phenomenal, because you just quickly move up. But for me to move up to these guys in front of me with the mouse, I actually need to do 3 actions with precision. I need to accelerate, I need to brake, and I need to select. Whereas here with the whip select, using that same right stick, all I need to do is just flick in that direction. So I can literally go bang, bang, bang. For local area movement, that's how quick it is. So when you combine the two of them, we've got phenomenal speed for getting around the map. So that's the first thing, that's the control method. Now the second thing I want to talk about is this thing called verticality. So verticality is, RTS has always been played like this, It's always been played on this flat field, and and you know, it's a glorified chess game. You know, you add a bit of terrain, you add a bit of things, but effectively you're moving things around a flat field. Now, when we talk about verticality, we talk about real 3D spatial awareness and the real 3D gameplay. So here in this demo, I've got a couple of guys up here on this roof, and you can see the line of sight I've got here is phenomenal. There's a lot of advantage to being up high. You know, aircraft will have some great viewpoints from up top. But beyond that, imagine an RTS map. So imagine this map right here. And yes, I can go on top of buildings, but you know, there could be tunnels underneath here. You know, we have levels that are entirely underground and they're higher than they are flat. You know, we have catacombs that sort of weave between the environment. And if you think about the type of gameplay and the type of strategy you can add now to RTS, it's something akin to the type of experiences that first-person shooters players have had, you know, competitively online.
So, hypothetically, if you had units underground right now and you zoomed right to them, it would literally take you underground?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be as easy as sort of going to these guys under me here. You know, I would just whip down. This is a very, like, I mean, it's a radial sort of control method. So, you know, I can go to the guys on the right here, I can go to the guys on the left, all these guys above me. And so I can actually play on different sort of heights within the same, you know, technically the same gaming real estate. It's nothing that we haven't done as a player before. You know, we've done it, but we've never done it on RTS. So, you know, it's very interesting because first-person shooter players, you know, they do that. They're used to being in an environment and not knowing what's going on above them, below them, you know, in another room. But now you've actually got that element of strategy and that element of sort of mindset that you can add into an RTS game. So it's phenomenal in terms of its, you know, achievement, its technical achievement.
How are you balancing this with the number of potential units you could have in the, like here we have like 4 or 5 different unit groupings.
Sure.
So what if you, I guess the question is, how many units are you planning on having in your army, and how are you?
Huge, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so multiplayer is a big focus for us.
Right.
You know, we're looking at having hundreds of units on the playfield. You can group units up together. I've grouped 2 together on the sort of on that demo. You know, you can group groups of 3 here, there, and everywhere. But the idea is, I mean, with multiplayer, we're looking at having, you know, huge environments and also having heaps of people competing at the same time. And one benefit, or one thing that we're adding to the multiplayer experience, is we're adding join anytime capabilities. So that's been another thing for RTS. You know, unless you've got 2 hours locked aside to actually play online, you can't just jump into a game and jump out. Whereas here we've got one resource, we've got some limited to controlled sort of building upgrades sort of things. This isn't SimCity, and so you can jump in and jump out of the games quite effectively, and we can calculate that. So multiplayer is a big focus for us, yeah.
But when you have that many units, how are you organizing them on screen in order to make it very easy to jump to the exact unit you want to go to?
Sure. Well, they will be just icons around the place. When you choose this whip select, the icons, you know, you can determine which ones are furthest away. So the icons that draw closer to you on your screen are the icons that are physically closer to you. If you have multiple sort of icons in the same area, in the same distance, they sort of separate away so you can flick between them. If you have a lot of units around you, you can actually just use the quick whip very effectively to just whip between units and chain your movements. So it's actually very interesting. And you don't even need to actually move to a unit in order to move them. You know, we have things like indirect command with the X button. You know, you can indirectly command units across. You know, with the Y button, you can lock onto other icons and move around them. So the navigation is very fast and very efficient.
Cool. Well, would you mind showing the whip a few more times while we take a question from Kristen?
Yeah, sure. I'll actually start playing the game a little bit and move across, yeah.
Zach Stedman from Manchester, UK wants to know about the environments. Are they destructible, and can they be used strategically?
Yeah, so the environments are very important with this game. I mean, you know, part of, you know, there's unit balancing obviously with a traditional, as with any traditional RTS. So sorry, I'll just move back to these guys, lock on and move forward. But obviously, a lot of the strategy that you have in the game is tied into the environments and using the environments strategically. In terms of destruction, there's not total destruction that would affect the strategy and the balancing of the levels. But we will have sort of some set destructions. Visually, you will have a lot of sort of impact marks and sort of impact destructions and that sort of thing.
How are you mixing up units? What kind of units do you have?
Sure, so there's 2 factions in the actual game. Both sides have 9 base units that you can have. The text trees are actually locked into the units themselves, so as the units get more experience, battle experience, they actually gain more special abilities and whatnot. And on top of that, we also have hero units that we're going to start announcing soon, and they have a lot of upgradable abilities. They're very, very cool in their sort of style of gameplay.
Very cool. Let's do one more question from Kristen before we wrap up.
I actually have a bunch of people people that want to know a little bit more about the kinds of weapons in Stormrise?
Sure. Okay. The two factions that we have. So we have the side. Well, the storyline really quickly is basically that, you know, sometime in the future we tried to control the environment. Our experiments went a bit astray, and we you know, created an environment where a huge megastorm started taking over the Earth. When this megastorm started taking over the Earth and you know, destroying most of the Earth's surface, those with the means and the technology hid underground. They became the Echelon. They're who I'm controlling now. So their technology or their sort of you know, units are very similar to, you know, modern day units, but slightly spec'd up, maybe 50 years in the future. So you've got your tanks, your big guns, all that sort of stuff. In terms of the other faction is the Psi. So they're the humans that were actually left to survive on Earth. And they were left to survive. Most of them died, but those who didn't evolved, and they lost all their technology, but their power comes from within. So, you know, you've got units that are much more organic, much more sort of fantastical in their abilities, and that allowed us to sort of explore a lot more options in terms of, you know, the sci-fi nature of you know, crazy things and crazy weaponry and, you know, special abilities and psychic abilities, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Well, Vispy, of course, the last question is, tell us one more time, when's it coming out and what platforms?
Sure. It's coming out on 360, it's coming on PS3 and Windows Vista, and we're aiming for a March release date next year, so not long.
All right, Stormrise is just around the corner, hopefully. We appreciate that. Vispy, thank you so much for being here. All right, my pleasure. Right now, we're going to go back to Tokyo. Last week, we took you back to Ukes to talk to some of the folks behind the Smackdown vs. Raw series. We taped a whole bunch of stuff while we were at the studio. We're going to take a trip back to the Ukes studio and show you some of the fun we had there back at TGS time. All right, hey everyone. So we're here at Ukes in Yokohama, and we're talking about Smackdown vs. Raw 2009. Now, of course, Ukes has been developing this game for a long time, but Ricardo and I came here specifically to teach them a lesson. Because if anybody knows American wrestling, it's, well, American. We flew all the way to Tokyo to teach the folks at Ukes, who actually make the game, but we're going to teach them a lesson on how to play this game. So we've got Shinji and Takeyoshi, they're developers on the game, but I'm not afraid at all because I've got Ricardo on my side, and his hair's down. So let's get this match started right now. All right, you're in the ring, Ricardo. I'm getting in right now. Actually, I guess you're playing Mr. Kennedy.
Is that what's going on?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
How do you tag?
The kick connects. Whoa, what a drop kick. One. Oh my God.
We'll teach a ref a lesson. DQ! Best 2 out of 3.
And we're off. And
oh, almost reversed. Oh no, they're ganging up on it. That's unfair. I'm calling for a DQ.
You got that right, JR. You're not going to see this kind of action on SmackDown.
Oh, they're using tactics on us. Get up, get up, get up. Oh, actual tactics. Well, you're just strolling around the ring. There you go, pin. Oh. Yes. Yes. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. Get out of here. No. No tag, no tag. Oh, nice reversal, almost.
A sharp kick, wearing down his opponent.
DQ. All right, well, that's fine. Well, there you go. We played the guys, and we ended up getting disqualified twice, so I call that a tie. Oh! I think we got ourselves beaten pretty badly. Guys, Shinji, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you beating us really badly. Back to you guys in the studio.
Oh, sorry, I'm enjoying staring at my new boyfriend, Vin, over here. This is Sean from Midway. Say hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Hi,
you have brought over Wheelman.
I have indeed.
Which involves two of my favorite things, driving and Vin Diesel.
Awesome.
I'm happy. All right, so what do we have, Wheelman? We have an open world racing game.
Open world racing game. We call it the ultimate car chase experience. We modeled many of the things in the game after how a movie would do it. So it's not just what a game would do, but what would a movie do to make it more interesting, more exciting, and give the players a chance to basically live out their own Hollywood car chase experience.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in there. And first of all, the character modeling on Vin is really, really good.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in that, a lot of iterations with Vin and his comments back and forth, and getting everyone's comments on how that worked. I'm going to steal this bike here.
We're gonna steal
Vin
a
on
scooter.
Yeah, because Vin on a scooter is kind of funny.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, you know, so one of the things
So what are we doing here? Yeah.
we're on a scooter. So one of the things we really want to do is that, you know, in a lot of driving games, when you wanted to get a new car, you had to stop, get in front of somebody else, hold them
You're
up
like-
and change cars, right? So that doesn't happen in car chase movies. You never see Jason Bourne do that.
No, there's just cars there that they just jump
Exactly.
in.
So exactly, they jump into it. So we made a move so Vin can jump from any car at any time.
And he just kicks the dude out.
Yeah, he kicks a dude on the street. I can go back, change cars
And
anytime
it's
I
a
want.
smart car. So we've got a scooter, we have a smart car.
And I'm just going to slam those. So one of the things we did is you also never see cars just kind of. Oh, there, I want that one. I'm going to go back at that SUV. You never see action movies where they. Oh, I must have hit it. You never see action movies where the cars are like just bumping, you know, like just slightly tapping each other. They have these massive collisions. So we built with the right thumbstick the ability where I'll just be able to go up here and slam this car left and right as well as forward. I'm going to actually ram him from behind, send him flying.
Oh, Lord.
And same thing sideways, so I can attack. Now, I'm just attacking innocent pedestrians there, so that's not so the nicest thing to do. Of course, a little boost to get going here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start one of our side missions. We have 105 side missions in addition to our main storyline of the game. So one of this is called a fugitive event, where basically I've done a favor earlier for a gang, and now another gang's really pissed off at me. So you see the kind of a standard ranking system for our side missions, just like any good driving game should have.
Yeah. Make sure you get there in X amount of time.
Right, so I just got to get there in X amount of time. But because this is Wheelman, what we've added in is that there's an entire gang pissed off at me, so they're going to be coming after me the entire time. So I'm going to use the two moves I just showed you, as well as another move I'll show in a minute to try to survive that. I have 3 minutes to get to the safe house.
And I think these guys are going to come from everywhere. Front
They are.
and behind.
They're
Were they
ramming.
shooting you?
They're ramming me. They're shooting me. So now I'm going to actually shoot at this guy. You know, so I shot him. He fell out of the car. I'm going to ram him.
Into
Toss
the building.
him into the building. It's nice to have an SUV. Send this guy flying. You
Oh,
notice,
Lord.
You notice when their icons start flashing, that kind of puts them actually into a finish them state where they're pretty susceptible to a big finishing hit. So I'm going to actually leave them that way, and I'm going to boost off. You know, try to get a little
Peace
bit of
out,
a break.
guys.
Yeah, peace out. They will eventually like radio ahead to some guys who will catch me up here. And now as these guys chase me, I'm going to show you one of our other moves.
There we go.
So sometimes when a guy's chasing you, you don't want to have to slow down or really get into that kind of attack system. So we built a move we call the Cyclone, where I just hit the button down, car spins around, and I can take out cars any way I want.
Oh, Lord.
Send them flying, spin right back around, and I'm back in the action.
This is awesome.
Yeah, completely under the player's control. You know, just like Die Hard with a Vengeance and Bruce Willis does that in the Turnpike. We want to put them under the player's control, not like a cutscene they didn't control, but still that Hollywood feel. Now I can do the same thing forward. So I'm just going to cause some chaos here. I'm going to shoot this innocent pedestrian car.
And it's just going to explode.
Yeah,
He's
and
gonna
then behind
He
me,
doesn't wear a seatbelt.
see the bad guys behind me, they're having to deal with that behind me. So
Oh,
I
they
can
have to deal with the
anytime I want.
wreckage, yeah.
Exactly. So I can send cars flying. Now I'm going to finish this guy off here. Ram him, send him flying.
This is so cool.
So I have all, you know, if this, I'm just showing you a quick little like snippet of the super moves. You know, we have missions based on all these moves and a lot of player choice. So like if I want, I can just try and outrun these guys anytime I want. Or get in there, melee attack them. I'm just causing some chaos for those guys behind me. Oh, a moving van, that's going to be, I should have
Was that like an armored truck you just ran into?
well, yeah, there are armored trucks in Barcelona. You know, in Spanish,
Okay.
they have armored vehicles.
Apparently.
So they have an armored vehicle they've actually sent after me there as well. So that won't be a one-shot kill if I go into the Cyclone, but I can certainly lower its health with that, as well as melee, as well as other attacks.
While we're beating up these dudes, let's go ahead and get some questions from Brian because I'm just drooling. This is so cool.
So Troy from Anaheim wants to know, if you need to get across a map, can you teleport to another area instantly, like in other games, or do you always have to drive there?
We have two things that we do. One is, this is like a side mission here. So if I don't get a time I want, there's a retry option, which will immediately take me back to exactly where I was. And in the game, I'll actually pause here and go to the PDA map. Right now it's just showing me the icons on there, but later on there'll be these side event called the taxis, and I can unlock them. And once I've beaten a taxi event, I can just go here, select it by hitting A, and I will immediately jump to that point in the world, saving any time. If I want to jump anywhere in the Barcelona cityscape, I can jump there at any time I want.
Fantastic. And your car is very destructible.
You know, it is.
It's pretty sturdy,
It
too.
is. So I'm going to actually change cars because that one was smoking. Anytime I want, I can change car, and that, of course, gave me a little bit of
Can you jump on
boost.
their cars and take their car?
Once I shoot the guys out of the passenger window, I totally can. That's actually a fun way to take them out. So if I can,
Like that guy.
that guy, I'm going to kill him, shoot him, let him flying. So,
And then we're going to jump in his car.
so I'll tuck in behind him.
Maybe.
He's trying to shoot me, so he doesn't want me behind him. I must have
Oh,
shot
that
that
guy
guy.
had, that guy, yeah.
I need to shoot the guy in the passenger seat first. There we go. Now I can jump into that car. No? Why? Where is he?
Can you get any other guns? Or are you
totally.
just with this pistol?
I failed this one. I'm
Oh,
going
we
to
blew
get retries,
up.
so it goes back to the binning. But yeah, there's all sorts of guns. Rocket launchers, grenade launchers, AK-47s, mini-me's. All the guns you'd expect from a fun open world game.
I have a question from Matt Cameron in Richmond Hill, Ontario, I believe. He wants to know if you smash your car up enough, will it explode or get less effective? And I guess a follow-up is different cars have different amounts of health, quote unquote.
Totally. All the cars are just like a good driving game as always. The cars are balanced, so each car has different handling. The SUV, of course, I picked that specifically with Fugitive so that it could survive all the damage. Yeah, it's really good. You can lose guys easily with going down through the train stations. They're not as good at that. It's also
Can you go through the... Oh, you can go through
yeah, we have a boss fight later where you're on a motorcycle and the boss is driving a subway train and you got to battle him that
Lord.
way. Yeah, it's Vin. He can handle that kind of thing.
I can say, I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever seen a subway chasing a motorcyclist.
It's fun. But yeah, to answer the original question, the cars will eventually take damage. I'll let this one maybe get a little more beat up, or I'll pick I can see how that car's kind of beaten. Eventually the handling will start to get affected, and it really encourages you at that point to, free change to any car. In the air jacket, it's any car, anytime. Whatever player wants to use. I'll jump to another one right here.
So with the environment, like the light poles and the trees, when you hit those, is your car going to take damage with those, or just when they hit buildings or cars?
It'll take damage, but it's not going to stop you like some other open world games have done, where it's like comes to a dead stop by hitting a tree.
Okay.
We're going to make sure we have the ability to keep moving. We want the player to look at they're going to get damaged, and it's going to slow them down. We want the player to think of their car as their weapon, not as like a trophy. So it doesn't matter, like, I'm in a crappy little French convertible now, but I can still do all the moves. I'm going to spin around.
Go, Pew, go.
And if I want, I don't have to shoot the engine. If I want, I can shoot out the driver instead, headshot the driver.
Shoot him right in the neck, because he doesn't need that
Now
neck.
that other guy, he's kind of screwed. He's in a car without a driver. That goes tumbling off.
Yeah, and he didn't care. He was just like chilling.
Yeah, I think it was more of raw Romanian panic.
Oh no! Let's get one more question from Brian before we have to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, VJ from Scarborough, Ontario wants to know about the auto aim. How do you aim your weapons? What are your options?
Well, on foot we have lock-on targeting, as well as with the left trigger, as well as a free aim with the left bumper. So the player has a choice of using the lock-on and with really a soft lock where they can push up for headshots and things like that. But you also have the ability to use a pure free aim where it's up to the player to do all their aiming. It goes a little tighter. In the car, in the Cyclone aim shot, you are aiming fully under control of what you're shooting at. And then shooting from a car, we help lock onto key targets, and then it locks in over time. So as long as you keep the car in position, so it's about your skill as the driver.
A lot of people, and I want to make sure we get this answered before we move on, but a lot of people are asking about multiplayer.
Yeah, we don't actually have multiplayer in the current version. We're focusing on the single-player experience. We had the multiplayer working on a demo internally, but because of our super moves, it was very hard to balance. Like, what do you let the other player do if someone tries to cyclone them, aim shot them, or airjack them? And it wasn't going to be a 10 feature for the game, so we'll leave that for a sequel and focus on just having this be the highest quality game possible.
All right, Sean. So when is Wheelman coming out, and what is it coming out on?
Wheelman will be out on February 20th on the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC.
So it's right around the corner.
Yeah, we have no worries about that date whatsoever.
Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and jump over to a little Dawn of War 2 multiplayer interview that we did. We just went ahead and sat down, had a super casual interview. So let's go ahead and see what updates we have for you on Dawn of War 2.
Our main goals when we were developing multiplayer is we wanted multiplayer to feel very familiar to the traditional Dawn of War player. So we were really taking some chances with our single player. We were trying some really ambitious things, trying to fix single player, fix problems with the RTS genre with our single player game. But multiplayer, we decided to divorce it from the single player experience because they are two different experiences. And multiplayer, we wanted it to be something for people who loved everything about the original Dawn of War. And so we didn't take tons of chances, but because we're Relic, we still decided to innovate. So we have done a few things, like we've streamlined the tech tree, we've streamlined base building and pushed base building out onto the front lines. And we've also added the doctrines and some really cool things from COH. It's just going to make for a really exciting experience. What we like about the hero is the hero personifies the tech tree. So just like company heroes, you have different doctrines for each faction. We have different doctrines for each of our races. So, three unique tech trees within each race. And the hero is what personifies that. He puts a face on the tech tree. The tech marine is like your builder hero. So he can build turrets around the map, he can build reinforcement points around the map, really help you lock down a whole section of the map. And he's also the only one who can call down a venerated dreadnought and drop pods. That's like a really ancient, super badass version of a dreadnought. That's just one of the many things that only he can call down. Force Commander, he's more of your in-your-face melee guy. He's your action hero. He's the only one who can call down both Terminators and Assault Terminators. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one who can call down Assault Terminators. So each one brings something unique to the table with their abilities, the war gear they can get, and the tech tree things they can unlock. One of the things we really like about multiplayer is, just like in single player, we want to reward the player more often, and we want to have more of a persistent experience. Now, it's a bit of a challenge in multiplayer because you don't want to introduce anything that affects balance. So what we've added is we've added like a level system that's based on how many games you've won. And what it does is it unlocks really cool visual upgrades to your units. So they don't have any in-game impact. So if you get like the fancier shoulder pads or the cool looking chest plate on your Space Marines or the gold filigreed bolters, they don't do any more damage. They have the exact same stance, but they look way cooler. And what's really cool is you have an experience bar for each of the races. So you'll be unlocking those visual unlocks as you experiment with the other races. Yeah, so somebody steps on with the ultimate Force Commander, you know, everything unlocked, people are going to be like, wow, that guy kicks serious ass. But we like how they build on each other, and but what we found is, you know, that kind of diffused responsibility of 3-on-3, it's more about having fun, and the end result is more of an afterthought. But for the people who like 1 versus 1 and they like that, you know, I have conquered somebody, one-on-one's still there. So we think we have something for everybody this time around. Well, Dawn of War is built on holy moments. I mean, that's one of the core franchises, core values of the franchise is like, we want the player saying, oh my God, holy shit, what the fuck, that was awesome. And like, you know, we had it up on the wall for a period of time, but it's like, nothing goes in the game unless it's fucking awesome. And, you know, it's a high challenge, and probably not everything is fucking awesome, but a lot of things in there are fucking awesome. And that's the mark we've always tried to hit. Even really routine things like training a unit or upgrading a unit, we try to put on a really over-the-top visual effect there. And we have a lot of units like the Avatar of Cain, or the Carnifex, or the Hive Tyrant, or the Fire Prism, things that just bring super powerful abilities to the table. And when you see them fielded, you know something just awesome is going to happen in a few seconds. So the Tyranids in the 40K backstory are the ultimate threat to the galaxy. So the galaxy has like 8 or 9 factions that are vying for supremacy. Humans kind of have the upper hand right now, but that's changing because everyone's kind of, their empire's crumbling. But the Tyranids are something that's coming from outside the galaxy. And each hive fleet that's kind of come into the galaxy, they're like a massive insect swarm that's just swarming through the galaxy, and they devour every planet they encounter. Strip it of all life, it's left as a barren rock. And they use that biomass to grow and increase the size of their hive fleet. And a few hive fleets have wandered into the galaxy, and each one has had the potential to completely wipe out the galaxy, because it's kind of an exponential thing. If you don't stop it early, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So 3 have come, and the implication is that they're just the beginning. They're just, the way Games Workshop described it is like, imagine all these eyes at the edge of the galaxy just kind of sizing it up, and each of those hive fleets is like a little finger going in to test the waters, and then one from here and one from there, before the whole hand just goes bam and just destroys everything. Well, there's the Hive Tyrant. He's like the ultimate melee badass for the Tyranids. So that's one of the heroes. The other one's the Ravener. He's a burrowing unit. So he can kind of burrow underground, and he also has a lot of really cool abilities designed to surprise and disrupt the enemy. But the coolest is probably the Lictor. Everyone loves the Lictor, and he can infiltrate, but the really cool ability is he has the Flesh Hooks, which is like kind of like this barbed tongue that can shoot like hundreds of feet across the map, like impale a guy and then pull him to the Lictor. So there's nothing more frightening and unnerving than having your hero in the middle of your guys and seeing him get yanked right into the middle of the other guy's army. It's really exciting, but scary moment. The Carnifex is the Tyranid's ultimate melee unit. Well, it's basically, I think it's their ultimate unit. But yeah, when the Carnifex takes the field, people are going to say, holy So yeah, Dawn of War 2 is coming to your PC in the first quarter of 2009.
I think we're going to have to age-gate that interview. Anyway, there's your look at Dawn of War 2. That was a fun interview. Earlier today, we got a look at another game. This one involves a penguin with swords. So I interviewed NIS America about Prinny. So take it away, Brian, from the past. Thanks, me. I appreciate that. Right now we're with Jack Nita, who is with NIS America, and we're looking at a game called, I want to make sure I get the name right, Prinny, Can I Really Be the Hero?
Yeah, that's correct. That's actually the title. It's a little weird,
okay.
But yeah.
Well, it's a PSP game. Tell us, who is Prinny and where did this title come from?
Prinny is actually a sort of a penguin monster character from the Disgaea series. He's sort of like a sidekick, a sort of like a slave to the overlord kind of character.
Okay.
But we thought that it might be interesting to throw him as the main character for this action game. So this is how we got the Prinny for this PSP title.
And it's a penguin with a sword.
Exactly. It's basically a penguin with a sword, and in Disgaea, if you throw a Prinny, they simply explode like a bomb.
Right.
So you got some similar like features to that game, or for the PSP version, and it's pretty interesting.
Cool. Well, let's dive right in. Tell us what we do in this game. Let's see some gameplay. Where are we in this game?
Basically, we are at the magma stage.
Okay.
It's sort of like it has a little bit of an Asian like a taste to it. Basically, you could choose any stage you want to play. So let me get there real quick.
All right, so
Finding a couple of corn dudes here.
yeah.
A lot of.
And he eats cake.
Yeah,
Of course, every penguin loves cake. That's to regenerate health.
It's basically like a save point.
Okay.
So once you die, you could go back there. If you don't actually click that. Oh, here we go. There's some ninja dude that have to kind of.
Now, was that? Tell us about the controls in this game. How are you controlling Prinny?
It's basic, sort of like the classic action game style side scroller. So you got the basic jump, attack, sort of like an air attack as well. Something interesting is the hip attack. What you could do is sort of jump and stomp the enemy, which basically paralyzes the enemy. And once they're paralyzed, you could sort of do like a combo attack. And there's also sort of like a double jump as well.
Right.
So, and you get 3 lives or 3 hit points. You get hit 3 times, and then you'll explode like a bomb. Like
a penguin bomb. But as you told me before this began, Prinny has 1,000 lives in this game.
1,000 lives.
Is that enough?
It's probably not enough even on this easy mode, because you get 3 hit points and 1,000 lives. But boy, it's pretty tough. A lot of the guys at the debug team had a real challenging time with this game. It's pretty sweet.
So tell me how Prinny evolves throughout the game. Does he get more weapons, more attacks?
What you get is a lot of various objects and like vehicles that you could use. For instance, there's going to be like tanks and like a flying saucer kind of thing that you could equip yourself with and fight various enemies. And also you have sort of like a lift and throw. You could find like bombs and things like that on the stages where you could pick up and throw. You could also pick up the enemies as well if you time the attacks right.
Okay.
So it's actually really pretty cool. It's classic style. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there's
so
a
you
bomb.
could pick it up
Okay.
and just throw it and let them explode. There's a bunch of these objects throughout the game, so you're gonna have to sort of like strategically pace yourself through the game.
Sure. What about enemies? We've seen a few of the enemies. What kind of things can we expect in this game?
You'll see various Disgaea characters.
Ooh.
So a lot of the ninjas, the warriors, lots of like demon lords as well, and it's you'll see some cameo guest appearances. Oh, here's another
From the Disgaea series?
Disgaea series.
Okay, main
exactly.
characters, not just enemies?
Main characters as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, so you'll see some, say, like Disgaea 1 characters coming out in the game. It's pretty interesting if you're a fan of the series.
What was that you were in? Was that just like a spaceship or something?
Yeah, it's like sort of like a flying saucer device.
It's got like guns.
Yeah, it's like jumping, flying around. This guy's a little slow, so it's a little hard to use, but once you get used to it, it's pretty useful. You got the little arrow right here where...
Oh, it shows you where to fire.
Yeah, you can shoot around.
And the countdown up top, that's how long you have before the thing, explodes or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Oh, kill myself.
Penguin in the lava.
Yeah.
That'll kill any penguin.
Exactly.
How many levels does the game have?
In the beginning, you'll have 6 main stages, and then within the 6 stages, you'll have what do you call it? Couple like sub stages within. So you'll have at least let me see, 15.
Oh wow.
That's just for the main stages, and you also have the sort of like the side quests.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit in the game.
Yeah. Any other multiplayer or any other modes we need to know about?
There's not a multiplayer mode, but there's a sort of like a game movie sharing device where you can actually film yourself while you're playing, and then you could transfer that to another PSP with your buddy. And also throughout the entire game, there's hidden musics, and you could, if you find them, you could like stock it up and then use that as the background music while you're playing. You could set it yourself. It's pretty neat, actually.
Very nice. The final question, of course, is when is Prinny coming out?
Prinny is actually coming out February 17th.
Okay.
So next year, not too far off.
Early part of the year, and
Yeah.
we should point out that it has both the Japanese and English voiceover, right?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get both of the voices into the game, so you could probably look forward to that.
That's always a nice feature. Well, Jack, thank you so much for being here. Prinny will be out in February, and we'll be looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to Brian Eckberg in the future. Yeah.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you. That was fun. So we've reached the end of another episode of On the Spot. Kristen, I didn't know you had a thing for Vin Diesel, but you got all blushy over there. You like Vin?
He's hot. Come
right.
on. Every girl likes him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see his little pecs, his little six-pack going on the t-shirt?
Yeah. Looked pretty. He looked great.
Yes, he did.
Fantastic.
Rawr.
All right. So anyway, guys, I want to let you know that Game of the Year awards are coming up. December 19th, I believe, is when we announce our preliminaries, and then all the week of Christmas week, we'll have all of our Game of the Year awards. Videos, all of our awards will be named, so you don't want to miss that. And what I'm being told something in my ear. Oh yes, of course. There's a new lineup tomorrow. I should have known that. But yeah, you don't want to miss this. It's the season-ending episode of the lineup where we announce Sports Game of the Year. And some people, I'm not going to say who, dress up in drag and sing. I wonder who that could be. Anyway, that's it for us. Thanks for watching On the Spot, and we will see you next time.